Welcome back. We're joined this morning with Bobby Stem from the Association of General Contractors in Oklahoma to talk all about our roads and bridges and what's happening with the rainfall and the impact that it's having. Bobby, I got to first thank you for being here with us this morning. I've got to start off by asking you, because we saw a press release the end of this past week where a couple state lawmakers were saying, look, our district now has roadways getting washed out, and this kind of came out of a discussion at the very end of session. So specifically, start with the roadways and bridges being washed. What are we seeing across the state from all this rainfall?
It's been enormous. What we would normally call potholes are sinkholes. I mean, yesterday alone, somebody falls into a sinkhole. The wrecker tries to get them out. The wrecker falls into a sinkhole. So we have some really catastrophic things happening underneath our roadways. These things are going to be very, very expensive, and they're going to be emergencies.
So, I mean, just looking around the state, do you have a sense what areas are hardest hit? I mean, everybody thinks that their neighborhood potholes are the worst,
Sure.
but do we know yet what areas are really need attention?
Your county roadways are in horrible shape after this, and there's no doubt about it. And here's the thing we need to be scared about. We have county roadways, and in about 2.5 months, we're going to have school buses driving down county roadways, going over these county bridges. And there's going to be some real activity over the next probably 10 weeks to get up underneath these bridges and figure out, are they dangerous? Are they unsafe? I mean, these are serious issues, and they're all going to cost money.
So we had on the show here on the MiddleGround in the summer, we had on Gary Ridley, Secretary of Transportation, to talk about the 8-year plan and where we were and how many years are left and what's the evolution after that,
Sure.
and to kind of explain a lot of those dynamics. I'm left wondering, after all this weather, does this interject into that 8-year plan? Does this throw it out of the mix? I mean, how is this going to impact the state's plan moving forward?
Think of it in two ways. You've got the state highway system, and let's divide that up into two things. One is the 8-year plan, which is rebuilding. But another part of ODOT, or the state system, is maintaining. The maintenance is what was cut this year in the legislature. That maintenance is what's needed most right now. Now let's talk about the other system, and that's the county system. And those guys are getting obliterated right now. So they're going to have to address it. And I think that there's some movement right now to address it quickly.
And when you say, just real quick, when you say obliterated, you mean that those are the roadways that are really suffering from all this rain. Those are the ones that are having to work immediately that we have to solve. And so that's kind of the context?
That's exactly right. I mean, take these small communities. You literally have roads that are shut down and that are linking two communities. They're not just shut down. The roads are no longer there. And I want people to think about a school bus, a heavy school bus, in 10 to 12 weeks going over some of these roads. I'm glad that it's the summertime and we've got our chance to get this thing fixed.
Has the legislative session made it, the budget outcome basically made it this more difficult? Is this, or do we have the money now, but we're going to be set back later in the year? I mean, how does the budget agreement affect all of these repairs?
Good question. There's a good and two bads. The good is 8-year plan has been kept whole. We're on progress for the 8-year rolling construction plan to take place. The two bads are, one is ODOT's funding was cut by $30 million. Gas tax revenues taken and put somewhere else. But then the counties have taken a huge hit. And right now you've got the majority of Oklahoma's rule. The majority of Oklahoma is getting swept away down a river somewhere or a stream. I think you're going to see some folks call very soon for special sessions.
Now, how does that work, though? I mean, the budget is the state budget, and you're saying that the counties are the ones that get hit the hardest. What's the dynamic there? How does the money flow work to cause this to happen?
Sure. And that's been a disagreement between the House and Senate. There's been some folks say, look, there's a county government. We're not here to support county governments. We're here to take care of the state. So let the counties go deal with raising those dollars. But then you have the rest of Oklahoma that says, hey, we're all in this together. So we're going to need some state dollars to take care of these state roads and bridges. But there are two different trains of thought there.
Yeah, and we should point out for our viewers that during the last week of session, I think it was on Wednesday night, that the House was debating the budget, and there were a lot of lawmakers over the transportation issue specifically that had concern, and I think a lot of them were some rural lawmakers.
Right.
That was an issue that really held up session for a while, and they had to talk through. It came up, I know, as well in the Senate. At the end of the day, what made them comfortable, I guess, is a question in order to move forward with the budget deal. And do you think now, a week later, after what they're seeing across the state, are they uncomfortable again? You referenced we may be in a special session soon.
Right. The Senate wanted to take a deeper cut. The House wanted to allow for about $40 million more annually to stay in the road program. I'll tell you this, if we were 1 week away from adjournment right now, I think the whole conversation would be different.
Totally
what's
different.
occurring. But I do believe that you'll see some some voices come out saying we've got to come back to the table and tap the, wait for it, rainy day fund.
So that is, folks around the state are looking and hearing that a budget deal was cut, taking from a lot of revolving funds and everything else. But the rainy day fund really exists for, ironically, rainy days or emergencies like this. So that's where you're saying this could tie in. What about supplemental funding? Is that too far away for our road maintenance programs to be able to last at the rate we're going?
And I think everything's on the table at this point in time,
Okay.
and that's probably why the governor came out a few days ago saying, hey, I want to push ODOT and have them access every fund they can and make things quick, which it takes the leadership to do that. There's only so much we can do. There's only so many dollars. So I think that if you're really going to address this, you're going to have people come to the table.
We've got about a minute left here. Any final thoughts that you have or anything our viewers should know about what they're dealing with in their communities and what they might expect to see in conversation coming in the next few weeks?
Sure. I think what you're going to see is rural parts of the state are going to be in tremendous trouble. I think you're going to see some state highways with issues. We saw I-35 today with some sinkholes as
Yes,
well.
sir.
Bottom line is, if it has to do with the road or bridge right now, we still have rain coming, then we are going to be in some problems. And I think it may take people returning to the Capitol building to address this.
Bobby, thanks so much for your time today and for all the good work.
Thank
Good
you.
luck
All
to
right,
you this
thank
year.
you guys very much.
Well, folks, we need to pause for a quick break, but up ahead, we'll recap that 2015 legislative session, the new laws, the budget cuts, other changes ahead, and what you can expect going into the election year. Stay with us.